learners. In today's video, we'll talk and learn about the legacy of our former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. We know that he is known as a silent diplomat and an intellectual who is regarded like a very separate kind of a person in our Indian politics. So we'll learn about the legacy of this great person and we'll try to see how one can take inspiration from his leadership qualities. First things first, we'll have a quite introduction about the sir. He was the 13th Prime Minister and he is known for statesmanship, which is a very key important factor in our ethics paper. Will be asking for one civil servant to have this quality. Statesman, and he is known as a very great economist and a policy reformer. There is a reason why he has been associated as a policy reformer, because prior to 1991, when India was considered like a backward economy or a closed economy, because of this great economist back then, because of his intellectual things in the economic field, made India to open its economy, and we've seen further growth after such kind of reforms being introduced. That is why the three important terms associated to this great personality would be statesmanship, economist and a policy reformer. And because of such kind of incidents or such kind of reforms being introduced, he is known as father of economic reforms. So this would be a brief introduction about him. Now, what is his early career? See, this is not important for us to know in the UPSC perspective, but we'll try to contribute or try to learn about the great personalities of our country, either to take inspiration from or either to build some kind of qualities or imbibe some qualities from them. So that is why this video is being made, keeping only that point in mind, but not how to use in the answer perspective. So he is a very good academician. He has completed DPhil in our Oxford University in the field of economics, and he also served as a professor. And coming to the key roles in the public service, he was been from 1972 to 76 as a chief economic advisor, and from 1982 to 85 he was the governor of RBI. It's a very key role. And from 85 to 87, he was the deputy chairman of Planning Commission. And later on in 1991, we have seen the reforms being brought. So such kind of expertise has made him to get shaped in such a way that he could contribute to our country in a more better aspect, and especially in the field of economics. Now, what are these economic reforms which were being introduced in 1991 to 1996 onwards under the leadership of P.V. Narasimha Rao? Dr. Manmohan Singh was the then finance minister. This particular reforms are called as our LPG reforms, which stand L for liberalization, P for privatization and G for globalization. This is a very key important historical event to be understood and to be known in our economic as a subject. He introduced this by quoting that no power on earth can stop an idea whose time has come. Saying this, he brought this reform. Liberalization, which means he opened our India's economy to the world. Privatization, he reduced the role of public sector and made a strategic important areas, identified those areas and tried to introduce or made inclusive for the private people to come into that kind of strategic areas. And he tried to globalize, which is again linked to liberalization. He has integrated India into the global economy through export-driven growth. So such kind of reforms been introduced by quoting such great lines, and since then we have seen the growth of economy or the Indian economy in specific in this way. What is the tenure and what he has done from his brief period as our Prime Minister from 2004 to 2014, rather than just being finance minister? One should remember, or every Indian youth should understand or should know such kind of key factors of the key facts or key objectives of India or personalities associated with the country. So when he was serving as a Prime Minister of our Prime Minister for 10 years, he contributed for the domestic lines and also in the foreign. Coming to domestic, in the economic growth, obviously During his tenure, India had witnessed 7.9% of average growth and was being considered as fastest growing economies globally. And coming to social welfare scheme, till today we cherish the scheme, and till today the people of rural India cherish the scheme which is called our Manrega. During his tenure, this was being introduced and it was been ensuring employment for rural households. And Right to Information Act, the transparency, the accountabilities to stand or to make or to question the government, such kind of a key important democratic act was being introduced in 2005, which is ensuring transparency and accountability during the tenure of Dr. Manmohan Singh. And a very important Food Security Act in 2013. It is aiming to provide subsidized food grains for two-thirds of India's population. Such kind of welfare scheme stands so important today, which was being introduced during this tenure. And coming to educational reforms, Right to Education Act 2009, we know how important it is for us to have universal education. To eradicate poverty, education must be given prioritized, and there was a particular statute brought into the picture, and expanded this reach of midday meal scheme so that the enrollment of students into the schools or to such kind of schemes can happen more. So such kind of strategic kind of schemes were being introduced in regard to education as well. Coming to our infrastructure development, during his tenure, the national highway development projects were being accelerated so that we can have highways among our country. And he has promoted urban development through Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. We will not go into the politics, but we will just focus on the policies and the contributions this great personality has made during his tenure. Then very important nuclear energy deal with US, India-US Civil Nuclear Agreement in 2018 to secure our energy. This great initiative or this great move was being done during the tenure. And he quoted while doing such kind of agreement, saying that India's nuclear power program is an essential component of our energy security. He said that how our nuclear power program is very important to ensure the energy security, and made such a move during his tenure. Now, coming to the foreign policy, that was the domestic lines. What he has done in foreign aspects, he has improved relations with major powers like India-US relations, with Russia, with China, and with Japan. And this kind of engagement was done so silently. That is why he is known as a silent diplomat. Not just with the superpowers, but also focused on the regional diplomacy, emphasizing more better relation with Pakistan, saying that peace and dialogue should be there rather than violence. And he has promoted economic cooperation within SAARC countries as well. Coming to global leadership, he has represented India at G20 and other global forums as a voice for emerging economies, and he has advocated for climate change in such kind of leadership gatherings. So, though he was been there, definitely since the post is such kind like he is a political leader, he is considered as a political leader, a diplomat turned leader, or a statesman turned leader. Definitely the political leaders will have criticisms and challenges. Such kind of backlashes he has faced, saying that he was having a policy paralysis kind of an approach. And also we know the 2G scam, corruption scandal was involved during the tenure, and the economic slowdown. Such kind of challenges was being faced. Though the challenges was being faced, his personal integrity and leadership style lies very important for every civil servant to acquire. And he said that I have always believed that politics is the art of the possible. Such a great line he was being told. So such kind of leadership style is very important for one to get inspired from. His legacy and impact, obviously I've told you such kind of economic reforms where we born. He's considered as an economic architect and a social advocate. He championed laws that uplifted marginalized communities. I've shared about the employment, about the education, about the food security, mainly focusing on the marginalized sections, and diplomatic statesmanship, a silent diplomat and a symbol of integrity. Such a powerful word has been associated to that intellect. So this tenure is such an insight or rich insight for everyone to remember, because he is considered as a symbol of integrity and a silent diplomat and an intellectual leader. So this is whole about the legacy of Dr. Manmohan Singh. Let us take inspirations, or let us take the good qualities of that great personality, so that we can contribute to the country in a more better way and learn and grow. Thank you.